Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome. Happy Thursday morning. My name is Teresa Keene. I am President and CEO of AgSafe. Wanted to thank you all for joining us today. We've got some fantastic and exciting news, and I'm excited to have you all here with us. So it is my absolute pleasure this morning to introduce to you all Patrick Zelaya. Many of you might have seen Patrick at AgSafe events in the past. Patrick is the founder, creator, genius behind Heavy Connect. It is a digital platform that really started out with focusing on food safety, and now he has really expanded his platform to cover safety issues. And this morning we're going to be talking about his COVID application that's going to be available to AgSafe members. What I really appreciate about Patrick, first of all, he's a really great guy. Second, he is incredibly smart. And third, he is really about solutions. He is listening to the industry, hearing what our challenges and our challenges are, and how he can create a solution for us. And so he's created the Heavy Connect app, and it is a fantastic tool, and I'm excited to hear a little bit more about how we'll be able to use this in terms of COVID support, and how we'll be able to track and document and take care of our workforce. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Patrick, and Patrick is very much about making sure that we are answering all of your questions. So if you have a question while he's going through the app, please feel free to type into the chat, and we'll make sure that we get those questions answered. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Patrick. Thank you.
Thanks, Teresa. I appreciate all the support and kind words. Heavy Connect, we started Heavy Connect back in 2015 here in the Salinas Valley. We're an AgSafe partner in safety, and we've been a big supporter of the organization since we started out. The idea behind Heavy Connect is a mobile app, which you see on the right side of the screen, and a web dashboard to digitize paper-based workflows. The mobile app is something that you can just download from the App Store. If you have an Apple device, you can download it for your iPhone or your iPad. If you have an Android device, you can download it from the Google Play Store. It's just a free download. It goes onto your existing mobile phone or tablet. And then the other component is the dashboard, and it's an encrypted website, kind of like your online banking. It's dashboard.heavyconnect.com, and it's your portal to the digital records that will allow you to move away from paper-based workflows. And so to give you a little bit of background on Heavy Connect, I mentioned we started here in the Salinas Valley, and the idea was to simplify operations by getting rid of paper. And so, we started actually with an iPad Mini in an OtterBox case, and we used a Google form to create a survey around equipment checklists. Are there any fluid leaks or error codes? And then that information was made available to the office. And then that started to expand out to food safety, to QA, QC, to worker safety, to time and attendance for employees, and really starting to understand the breadth of regulatory compliance in farming operations is more than just food safety. It's more than just time cards for your harvesting crews. It's employee training for tailgate trainings, and making sure that the attendance sheets and the records are all captured in a very simple way. And when I say a simple way, traditionally you probably all have these binders in a wall in the office with your pesticide use reports, with your injury and illness prevention program, and then you also have a copy of the binder in each of the foreman and supervisor's pickup truck. Well, all of that can now be managed, not just paperlessly, but updated continuously. And so I'm going to click over here to the dashboard. You can set expiration dates, and you can turn on and update sharing documents with the mobile app. You can send it to the app. You can upload new documents. You can create folders, which is basically binders, all digitally in the Heavy Connect dashboard. And so it's moving completely away from these binders that we're accustomed to. The AgSafe compliance dashboard that we've created is specific to the compliance around COVID-19. And there's three pillars of that. So there's the mandatory training that has to take place. There's the reports in the field. So your, health screening for your harvesting crews, your hand washing logs, and then your record keeping, making sure that you have your COVID-19 program available for employees, for auditors, available in the available to anyone who needs it. And so we'll walk through that. But what we've created, and we're gonna go through together, is these three pillars one at a time. So how can Heavy Connect, the Heavy Connect platform, so the app and dashboard, manage your COVID-19 training? How can the Heavy Connect platform manage your checklists paperlessly, and then store your records? And all of it created free of charge as a member benefit for AgSafe. So the AgSafe compliance dashboard is powered by Heavy Connect and is a tool for all of its members to use. So let's start with training. I'm going to click on the training tab here in the dashboard. And then I'm also going to come over here to my mobile app, and I'm going to click on the training module. Okay, so here's the training that's been completed today. I did one this morning. I can see a completed version of it. And so this is a Tailgate Training report. So I've got my questions of the topics, how to properly wash your hands. Did I do that? Did I explain the company's leave policy? So everything was verified that was completed. And then the employees' names, they all signed off that they attended the training. And this goes into the Heavy Connect log under their name that they've received this training, as well as any resources that go along with this. So if you have a training guide, your auditors or your employees that want to see the attendance sheet can all see that information of the topic that was covered. Okay, so that's the list of trainings, and you can create a date range, or basically a binder on demand. You can do all your different training topics. You can sort down, or if you just want to look at specific crews of employees, you can do that. I'm going to click over here on the employee list. And this is going to show you the employees that we have as part of this account. And so I've got two crews, the AgSafe crew and the A team. And because the A team did a tailgate training this morning, they've completed 1 out of 6 of their required trainings, how to properly wash your hands. The other 5 they've not completed. We're going to complete 1 of those today. And so you can see each of your employees' training record. And what's good about this is that if they require annual training or every 2-year training, like sexual harassment training, as you approach the end of the year, as you get into Q4, you can start to create your trainings around what's needed and make sure that the right employees are in those trainings so that you finish out your year with everybody receiving their training. Again, all of that is, you're going to have a lot of employees, I assume. And so your ability to drill down into which employees need training is all done here in the filters. If you have questions, just go ahead and either put them in the chat or unmute yourself and we'll go through it together. I'm sure that if you have a question, more than one person has that question. I'm going to click over to Report Builder before we do an example of a training. And these are the 2 trainings that we have in here. So we've got, I can click on, let's do supervisor training topics. Edit. And I can see the different questions that are built in here. So this is pre-populated. And when you sign up, you're going to get pre-populated trainings, pre-populated documents, and pre-populated checklists that AgSafe has selected for you to get started. If you need to make changes, you can do that in, let me show you. Click on the question. You can create a translation, and then you can actually change the question type to many different questions that you want. So if you want an employee dropdown, if you want a multiple choice dropdown, if you want to do a signature, it's there, barcode scanning, date and time. So many different ways to code your question responses. So we're going to leave that one alone. But the point here is that the documents that have been preloaded are highly customizable to your needs. So you've got your ability to adjust these trainings. You've got your employee training history here. And then the list view of completed trainings. We're going to go ahead and complete a training, but I do want to answer a question in the chat. I'm going to click on this 3-bar menu and scroll down to settings. So the question is, what languages do you have the ability to do this in other languages? Yes, and so there's a few ways to do that. We have built-in languages that we have built here at Heavy Connect, what we call California Spanish, and then for our users in Mexico and Central America, we have regular Spanish. You can also add additional languages into the program, and it will translate to your unique translations in the checklist. So if you have not just formal translations from Google Translate, but if you have, certain terms or colloquialisms or slang, you can create your translations into the reports. If I click here, you can create your own preferred translation right there. And that can be into any language. Okay. So now I'm going to click on the training module, and I'm going to perform a tailgate training. So I am the foreman of the A-team crew in the field, and we're going to do a weekly training. So I'm going to go down here. I pull out the phone from my pocket. It doesn't have to be connected to internet. I can synchronize by clicking this button at any time. In case I don't have internet signal, I can click the plus button. And then I've got seasonal supervisor training topics. Let me click on that one. I'm going to click the crew. And so we're going to do these step through numbers. We're going to go 1 through 4. So we know that we're on track. We're just going to go top to bottom. We select our crew. We select our training topic. It'll be the seasonal COVID training. And then you see here that it populates with a document of what I need to be covering. So this is my instructor's guide to make sure that I don't leave anything out of the training and that my employees receive good quality training as directed by the office. This is what the office wants you to train on. I'm also going to select my locations here, and you can make this as complex as you want as far as your grower, ranch section, block, plot, direction, and I'll show you how to do locations. But you can have it as simple as just the grower name or your company name and then move on to the next step. So I'm going to answer my questions now that I've covered all of the required topics. And maybe we leave out how employees can protect themselves and prevent the spread. So that's a negative response. You see that turned orange right there. You can make the questions required or optional. That's why, we might have like an NA right there. And just for demonstration purposes, let's move on to step 3. And this is my signatures. So now my employees, I'm going to pass the device around, and they're all going to select their name and do their signatures. And then the final step, step 4, is the manager signature, and that's me. Excuse me. I can do a title change if I want. Maybe I can say I'm not the foreman, I'm the supervisor. Or I can just leave it as is. And now I'm done. That has all 4 steps completed. I'm going to click finish. We're done with our tailgate training. I put the phone in my pocket and we start our day. Now it's sending this information to the office, and that's the synchronization. I can click here to see, okay, it's synchronized. There was an issue reported. The location was the Modesto Ranch, Section A, Block 4. I have my date and time stamp. I can send the report to someone else if I need to outside of my organization. But inside of my organization, it's going to show up here in the dashboard. So I don't need to like send that anywhere. And there it is. I'm going to click in the app. I'm going to click on preview report just so I can see the PDF. But I'm also going to click here in the dashboard. I want to see that completed form. And you can see it's identical to what the person in the field sees. I can see my signatures. And then as part of my record, I also have those training materials. So if any auditor wants to see that my employees were trained, not only do I have their attendance sheet and that we covered all the topics, but I also have the course materials. And that's going to make any auditor very happy to show that the job's being done to completion. Now I want to go over to employee list.
Patrick, can I ask a question? I'm sorry. So sorry. Okay. So we had a question about who has access to the pages. So how do you grant access, supervisors, foremen, and how does that work?
Yes, good question. So it's all encoding about how the user is coded. So the employees, Adam Adams, Barry Barr, Kathy Connors, they are employees only. They are not using the system. The only people using the system is the app user, the foreman or supervisor in the field, and then the dashboard users. There's different roles for each of these types, and we're going to cover that when we look at the user types. And so I'm going to show you how to add users in about 10 minutes. You can see my trainings now went from 1 completed to 2 completed. The seasonal training is now done. And so I'm able to make sure that everyone's going to receive their required training through the employee list. And that's the training pillar of your COVID-19 compliance using the AgSafe compliance dashboard. Before we go over to checklists, let me answer that question. Let's look at users, and then we'll get back to the second and third pillar. I'm going to click on settings. And you see in settings, I have 2 types of people. I have users and I have employees. So I have 3 users, myself, Natalie, and Gabby. But if I click on employees, I can see Adam Adams and Barry Barr and Kathy Connors. So I can see all of the employees in addition to my users. My users all have the administrator access. If I click on my name, it opens up a window and I can see what type of access I have. So device only means I can only use the app. I can't go onto the dashboard. My login credentials will not allow me to, even though my login credentials will get me into the mobile app. Full access is for your training manager, for your payroll team, the person who's going to be managing those completed reports. That means that they're going to have access to the dashboard, but they're not going to have administrator access where they can create and change users, where they can create and change locations. So there's certain administrator privileges that only the administrator has. And then each employee has additional information that can be added, but you can see at a minimum, a first name, last name, and username is all that's required. Okay. So now let's move on to that second pillar of compliance, doing checklists in the field. I'm going to go to the inspector module on the dashboard. And then on my mobile app, I'm going to go back to my main menu. They call this the hamburger menu. And I'm going to click on the COVID-19 module here. I've completed one checklist today, and there's been three completed in total for this account. So I'm going to go down and I'm going to start a new one. I'm going to click the blue plus button, and let's do our supervisor during shift, and let's do the end of shift. I already did the prior to shift this morning. And you can see we're following a similar process. Everything looks very similar to training, where we're going through our steps. We're going to select our location. And you see a green bar at the bottom that says GPS location saved. We can actually see where people are filling out these reports in the field. I'll show you what that looks like too. We're now on to step 2. We're answering our questions. It's the yes, no, or NA. And this checklist is pre-populated. Let's say that the user did not ensure that personal protective equipment is used and is disposed of properly. We're going to click that. You see our orange, so something is of note here. And then also each one of these clipboards that pop up, we can add additional information to each of these questions. So I can click on this clipboard and I'm going to change it to red. I can make a comment or take a picture. And what's great about mobile devices today is they all have the talk to text feature. We didn't bring enough protective equipment. And it captures what I said. I can add a picture if I'd rather do that, or add additional detail. It's just my keyboard. And it embeds the picture, my comment, the color coding, all into that last question. I click next. I do my signature. I click save, and we're done. I put it in my pocket, and all that information is going to the dashboard. I can click here, see that it's synchronized. It's a problem. I can also come to my dashboard and refresh it, and we're going to see a bad report pop up because this synchronized. I'm going to click on preview report, and it's going to give me that PDF of my completed report. Waiting for my dashboard. I have 3 kids at home, all in separate Zoom rooms for school, and so our internet runs a little bit slow in the mornings. But there's the completed report. We can see that there's a bad one there. I mentioned about the GPS. Let's have a look at that. And let's look at the reports on this account since the beginning of the month. So we have a couple of them up in the Bay Area, and then 2 here down by Salinas. Here's our report. You know, and we can really drill down into the granularity of this. I can see, okay, Patrick submitted this report at 9:24. Let's have a look at it. and I'll be able to see in real time what is the issue that's being reported. Oh, they didn't bring enough protective equipment. I'm going to go ahead and have some sent out to them. They took a picture of what they need, and I know where they are. So I'm going to go ahead and run some PPE out to them. All right. So that's your completed checklists for COVID-19. And it's all, like I mentioned, have been pre-populated. In the report builder, you can make adjustments. Laura, you mentioned that Google Translate makes it difficult. So we actually can help with that at Heavy Connect if you need some bilingual support. All of these checklists, as you fill them out, can be done in Spanish or the language of your preference. So when they set that language setting to a different language, all of the checklists are shown in that language, and so they won't have to do that translation in the future. All right. Another question: once you were to send out the personal protective equipment, can you show that that's been completed? You sure can. So you can actually change the completed report. I can go back into it by clicking edit. I can scroll down and I can make my changes if I want to here, and then the report will be updated. If you don't want your employees doing that, we can also go into the report at the dashboard and show corrective actions. So you keep the record of the issue, but we can review that checklist here and sign off on it. So I've got my corrective actions. Oops. Brought out PPE, issue resolved, recommendation, always have them stocked twice as much so they. I can review the questions. I can sign off. So that it captures, it's been reviewed, it did come in bad, but it's been taken care of, and that we can see that, that completed report and the versions of it, so that it's been, it's been taken care of. So inspector reviewed report. Okay, so that is paperless management of the logs and reports that are being captured in the field. As we come back here, there's one more section. It's really important and it's really simple to use. It's this record keeping piece. So if you're familiar with Dropbox or even just the folders in Windows, your online document management is stored here in this section called binders. And I'm in the app, I'm gonna back out of it. It's gonna ask me if I'm fine letting go of those changes. Then I'm gonna click on my menu and I'm gonna go down to binders. Okay, so I don't have anything in the mobile app right now. I've got these pre-populated for me by AgSafe. So how to properly wear a mask. I wanna set an expiration date. But this is only gonna be good till the end of the year. And then I wanna be notified once that expires so that I can upload the new one, because this one expired. So I need my new Spanish injury and illness prevention program. On my English one, I've got 6 days left. It's gonna expire March 31st. But this is still good, so I'm gonna go ahead and send it to the app. Now, when I synchronize my mobile app, everybody in the field, all my users, are gonna have access to this document. I can click on it here. So here it is. You see it in the mobile app now. I'm going to click on that. And there's my resources. Now, when this document expires, I'm going to remove it from the app. So it's been removed. I can click X. I can synchronize, and now that's going to disappear. So I won't have any more issues of my people in the field having outdated information. And then when I upload the new one, let's say that it's this one right here, this one expired, so I upload the new one here by uploading a new file. I've uploaded my new one. Now I want to send it to the mobile app. I've already done that. So I'm going to refresh. And now I have my current version. And so this is how you're going to continue to manage your documents in the field without having to print off paper, do a 3-hole punch and get it into the binder. It's all going to be done electronically and online. So full documentation, not just of your reports or your training logs, but your injury and illness prevention program, your COVID-19 program, and all of the checklists. So that's the training module, the checklists, and the record keeping that are all part of the AgSafe compliance dashboard. And so you download the mobile app to any device at on the App Store, whether it's Apple or Android, and then you'll have your credentials to log into dashboard.heavyconnect.com. So how do you get started with that? You can email us at contact@heavyconnect.com. Here is our phone number. You can do an online sign up. You can reach out to me directly. I'm the founder of Heavy Connect. We have a team of, I think, 31 people now. So there's quite a lot of us, but you can reach me directly here. A couple other things that I want to show you that we're going to take you through when you sign up is how to manage your locations so that you can add additional detail here for your growers, your ranches, your sections, your fields, your blocks. All of this can be built into your compliance dashboard. Alternatively, you could just create one location, which is the name of your company, to make it very simple. The other thing that we're going to walk you through is how to set up your users. And it's all self-service, but we can help you walk through it. Your name, your username, and a password, as well as your employees. And so we're going to help you make sure that you're tracking the employee COVID-19 compliance by having everyone in there. We'll spend about $30. We'll spend about, 30 minutes with each of you as you sign up to get you up and running. But as you can see, adding users, adding locations, adding employees in a self-service manner is actually pretty simple. Now, of course, adding employees one at a time is going to be very challenging. You can import a list, and we give you an example of the format that it needs. You can actually just download the example and then fill that out and then re-upload it. And so it becomes pretty simple that way. And this is what you do in the case that you have, hundreds or thousands of employees. You can get them into the system quite simply in this way. So I have the example form here. Okay, so you can see we've got the same names, and it's just with these 3 columns that you're going to list out your employees. And then once you have that completed, you'll be able to upload your comma separated value spreadsheet. It's a regular spreadsheet like Excel. Any questions that I can answer for you about the AgSafe compliance dashboard? It's a member benefit, so there's no fee with it. At Heavy Connect, we offer a lot more functionality beyond COVID-19. We have small growers, FLCs, all the way up to the large ones like Dole, and then at the other end of the food supply chain like Cisco as well. But we work with, we started here in the Salinas Valley and kind of just expanded outward, and now we have an international presence since we got started 5 years ago. But our alignment and alliance with AgSafe has always been very strong, and we want to continue to support the AgSafe community. So that's the training on it. Please reach out to us, and we will get your AgSafe compliance dashboard up and running.
Patrick, thank you so very much. I'm checking to see if we've got any more questions that have come in. Okay, well, Lori wants to talk. So anyway, she has put her contact details, so we'll make sure that you get connected with her. And again, I encourage all of you to utilize this really great resource as you're trying to comply with your COVID-19 injury and illness protection program, and just trying to track it all. This is a great solution to help you do that. And Patrick and his team are fantastic. They're great resources. They're always available for questions. And I'm just really incredibly grateful to have this opportunity to work with Heavy Connect and to offer this fantastic service to all of you. Thank you again for participating today. And again, if you have questions, feel free to reach out and again, utilize the service. So thank you all for joining us, and we'll connect here soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.